Welcome to my channel going back in time till 1909, the channel that's all based on the two Dutch cookbooks behind me. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who watched the videos and subscribed to my channel. Secondly, normally I will prepare a recipe out of the cookbooks behind me, but today we're going to do something different. And the reason why is that my spouse came up with a special request this morning that is pretty close to my heart. And let me explain why. When I was still living in the Netherlands, my family would always come together on the Sundays during borreltijd. Borreltijd in the Netherlands is around 4 or 5 p.m. and it's a time when you socialize with family, friends and neighbors while having a small bite and a drink. For us that meant that most times we had a glass of wine and a cheese platter, but sometimes we would have a bitter garnituur. One of the items of a bitter garnituur is a bitterbal. And a bitterbal is normally made with meat, but today we're going to make it with mushrooms because my spouse is vegetarian. Just follow me to the kitchen and I will show you how to prepare a mushroom bitterbal. Welcome to my kitchen and let's take a look at which ingredients we need to make a bitterbal. In this case, because we are making mushroom bitterballen, we will need mushrooms. I like to add in onion, garlic and chives. And we also need a roux. And a roux is coming from the French kitchen and it's a basis for a lot of the different sauces that are used in the French kitchen or fillings. So basically a roux is made with flour and butter and then a liquid sauce, and the two types that we're going to use today is a vegetable stock and some heavy cream. So let's get started with the filling. When you have mushrooms and you get them from the grocery store, it's really important that you clean the mushroom. Some people like to wash the mushroom, but the mushroom is acting like a sponge, so it sucks in a lot of moisture. And when you start frying the mushrooms in the pan, you suddenly start steaming them. So what I do, I take the stem out, I wipe them down with a small brush so that they're clean, and then we start cutting them. So we're just going to slice them in half. And then we just chop them in small blocks. So now that the mushrooms are done, they are sliced and chopped in small blocks. We're going to the onion. Slice the top of it off, bottom of it off, and then we can slice them in half. Then we peel one layer off. Just be careful when you do the onions. You can see it in here. There's a small piece of skin in there. If you don't take it off and you put your knife on the onion, then your knife can slide off and you can cut your finger. So make sure that you peel that one off so that that skin is not on there anymore. Sometimes they get stuck to your finger, and then you just with your knife chop them really fine. You slide with your knife one time in there, do 2 times, and then it just and that's about the amount of onion that we need, and you can add that with your mushrooms. It's time for the garlic. We have just garlic over here. You push on it. You take 1, 2, 3 out. That goes back. Let's get away with this. Then get your knife, cut the chop, bottom off. And then if you are lucky, you can cut with your knife at the top. And then you can get the skin off. And then you have a nice clean clove of garlic. Oh. Just make sure that the pieces you chopped off and the outside is gone, and then basically the same that you did with the onions. And then 1 slice in here. Then and we do it again. The last one. And then you have the garlic that goes in. And then the next thing we need to cut is chives. Take it off the package, wash it, line it up, and then chop it really fine. Basically my thumb and my pinky are holding the bundle of chives together, and then my other fingers are just there to guide the knife slowly backwards. And basically this is the amount of chives that we need. Just have to give it a second. Okay, so the butter in this pan is melted, so hop, mixer goes in there. And I personally really like the smell of onions, garlic, and mushrooms. I always have since I was a child. It's just really a nice smell and aromas that come free. The butter in the pan here is almost melted. As you can see in the pan, I kept it a light color. And then we can add in the flour. And we just stir that in, and what you will see is that it will form the roux. Really important with a roux, by the way, is that you give it time for the heat to get into the flour. Raw flour is not nice to eat, so what we want to do is we want to mix it in, let it stand, keep it on a low heat, stir it around so that it doesn't burn. On a lower heat, and in the end we want to see it sweat a little bit. So when the mixture of the flour and the butter is going to sweat, that means that the flour is done and we can start using it. Never with a roux have a hot roux and a hot liquid, because then it doesn't work properly. So it's always, if the roux is hot, then your liquids are cold. When the liquids are hot, then your roux has to be cold. Let it stand. So we have a nice mixture here. Going to add in a decent amount of pepper. Going to add in salt. And just mix it up again. Let it stand a little bit longer. Import it in the kitchen. We always taste if it has enough flavor. You can always correct it right now. It's really hard to correct it when it's finished. Also, I would always say, start with small amounts. Don't over seasoning it. It's really hard to get seasoning out of something that you are preparing. It's always easier just to add more to it. So this is slowly, and you can see that's slowly getting a little bit of color. And it starts sweating a little bit, so I can turn up the heat a little bit more because I want to get a little bit more color to it. And season this. This has, for me, the perfect flavor. I'm going to add in the chives. So I have the pan here. What we're going to do, we're going to put a little bit in there. And then we stir it around. And then when it's all gone again, and it's in the mixer, we add a little bit more in there. And then again. milk, sorry, more heavy cream, and the vegetable stock. We put the last bit in there. Again, it's really important to taste again if you have the flavor that you want. I personally like a little bit more vegetable stock flavor in there, so I will add a little bit more in there. And of course, I'm going to add also pepper and salt to this mixer. Taste it again. Have a little bit more salt. A little bit more pepper. Now I can take this one out. And we're going to add the mushrooms in there. I'm going to again go taste. And have a little bit more pepper, a little bit more salt, a little bit more liquid. Okay, so we're now going to chill down this mixer, this mix. I prefer to place it in the freezer just to cool down really fast. Easiest thing is to do is to transfer it over to like a glass tray. It's harder in a pan to cool down. Spread it out. And this is going into the freezer for about an hour. So that it's completely cooled down, and then we can use an ice scoop to create small balls of it. So we are getting close to the final step. What I did in the meantime, the mixer, when it was a little bit cold, I used an ice scoop to already make pre-made balls of the dough. So you can see I have it here. Those go into the flour From the flour, they go into the egg. From the egg, they go into the breadcrumbs. Then they go in the egg again. And then they go in the breadcrumbs again. And then you just put it down and you will repeat this. So it goes in the flour, in the egg, in the breadcrumbs, back in the egg, back in the breadcrumbs. And the reason that I'm doing that is just to make sure that there is a nice crust around the mixer inside. I like the sound of the bite, the taste feel of the bite, but also make sure that the inside is not leaking out when you are frying them. And that's going to be the last step, and then we can plate and we can enjoy them.